Yes, guys, it's 5 o'clock. It's DR Sports. It's myself, AGT. You know what time it is. It's 5. Well, it's 4:30.
It's 5. It's 5.
It's 4, yeah, it's 5 o'clock.
It's 5, Rob. It's 5. I promise it's 5.
And you know what that means? It's transfer news live on DR Sports. And it's myself, and you've heard him already, the legend, my mate, Nicky Hawkins, a.k.a. the Hawkinator, a.k.a. the CEO of West Ham Fan TV.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me on.
It's all right.
Thank you.
You know we always have a laugh, don't we?
Yeah, we do, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So get your football trivia questions in. We like to accept a few questions and
yes, please
fill out the noise with a bit of trivia because we're both footballing men and we know our stuff.
We're footballing men, us.
But let's you decide that. Smash that like button. Get your comments in today. What are we talking about? I hear you ask, Nick.
We are talking about, mate. That's a good question because I've just clicked it off my screen.
That's what they are saying. What are they talking about?
We are talking about Madueke.
Yeah.
And Gyokeres agreeing for Arsenal.
Absolutely.
We're also talking about someone going to Tottenham. I'm not going to quite say who, but and we're talking about Morgan Gibbs-white.
That's it. And obviously your boy that's just left there to go to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are a few rumours this morning linking Liverpool to a Crystal Palace striker, Jean-Philippe Mateta, as well. So we'll see about that. And obviously Newcastle allegedly interested in Ekitike. Great Scouse name, that.
Yeah, we've got a bit of Brentford news, a bit of West Ham news.
No, it's all coming up. It's all coming up on the show in the next 45 minutes. So make sure you smash that like button, get involved, have a little chat with us in the comments box below, and keep us entertained, and we'll do the same for you. Right, first off, let's go to North London. Arsenal have signed Noni Madueke for 52 million from Chelsea. The winger has passed his medical. Is likely to be announced tomorrow, that one, Nick. Agreed a fee on the personal side and obviously signed the contract probably today. Most likely the video goes out tomorrow. I mean, in the current market, bearing in mind he has just, not this has got anything to do with his price tag, but he left Chelsea before the final happened yesterday. He was spotted at Wireless in Finsbury Park watching Drake yesterday as well, so didn't get a medal, or in person anyway. He might get one in the post. But how do you view this signing in terms of, is this one a needle mover for Arsenal?
I don't think it's a needle mover. The kid's a good, talented kid, and what I would say is that when you had other players going around for similar money, I didn't think they would pick Madueke over someone. He went for a similar amount to Kudus. I think Kudus could have moved in. I think he would have fitted in really well there. But yeah, I don't think it's a needle move. But the kid is a talented kid, and they have had a little bit of history of signing Chelsea players and bringing them good. So, you know, you got Kai Havertz, Jorginho, a little bit, but you know what I mean. They have got that history of you know, bringing the best out of these Chelsea players. And listen, he's a good kid. I don't know whether he's £55 million worth, but he's a decent player. He's a decent player. Only time will tell, Al. You know what I mean. There's not really a lot you can say until we see him play.
Yeah, I think the eye test, you know, he passes that in terms of, does he excite you on the ball? Can he beat a man? Can he knock it back and get an assist? You know, his stats were just on the screen there. I think it's 11 goals in all comps and 6 assists, if I'm right. Let's get it up. Oh, 11 and 5.
Yeah,
I was 1 out. But yeah, still got loads of time to grow. What do you make of the kind of backlash, really, that's happening via the internet, via some disgruntled Arsenal fans that maybe don't want him to join? There's hashtags and petitions. I mean, I do feel for the boy because it's not his fault.
I found that very odd. You know what I mean? Like the man hasn't kicked a ball for your club yet, and you're protesting, and like what you see in what Arsenal are doing today with the Gyokeres stuff, and then now they're looking at Eze and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's something you need to be protesting over. I think they are strengthening. Does he go in there for squad depth? Probably. And I don't know what there is to whinge about. You know, maybe it's the fact that he's come from Chelsea, but they've done so much business with Chelsea, so I can't see what there's to protest about. Listen, I think Arsenal fans need to let him have a little bit of a bit of breathing space, and before he start, they are a notoriously hostile crowd to their players when they don't. You see what happened with Granit Xhaka at one point, but
Mbuemo as
well. Yeah. So give the boy a chance before you start booing him. I mean, he could come good. It's not even like he's bad now. You know what I mean? He's just got the England squad, and
I think he's fallen foul of the timing of this.
Yeah,
and the timing and the context of the situation is Arsenal want and need desperately a number 9, and they're getting that. But don't overreact and think, well, if that's what our business is, I'm fuming. It's like, no. He's one of many options that Arsenal are obviously looking at. They found a deal. He probably doesn't even have to move house. So it suits him. He's getting more money, obviously. And, don't write the boy off. I think it's bang out of order, these petitions and the people that would set these up. And he's got to, turn his comments off on Instagram. So listen. It's a difficult one for him, that.
I see Rio Ferdinand. So for a young 23-year-old English footballer to be vilified, bullied, embarrassed and totally stripped down at a time when you're meant to be celebrating a transfer worth £55 million. Yes, a young kid with a dream about to secure a £55 million dream moved to a club of his desire, leaving a rival at that to be treated in this manner via section of the Arsenal fans. Fan base is utter disgrace, and I tend to agree with him now. I don't know. Listen, I think social media amplifies it, and you always get the idiots on social media. We're on social media, so you definitely do. But
we're idiots as well.
We're idiots as well. Yeah,
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's. I think it's always amplified, but it's always an easy. When you don't get what you want, and that sometimes is Arsenal's problem. We ain't getting what we want, which they are because they've signed him today. But I think they were so worried about the Gyokeres deal because probably they've seen it break down so many times with strikers and all that they started to sort of vent.
That's not his fault.
It's not his fault. No, it's definitely not his fault. No, I wonder if he's having second thoughts at the minute.
I think there's a fine line between, and I've obviously spoken about this with Laurie in the last week. There's a fine line of going, I mean, he's all right, but we've got 3 other priorities that we need more desperately than him. And then the other part of that line is setting up petitions and saying no to Madueke on Twitter. I mean, you can almost say we don't need him and I don't really want him, but if we get him, obviously he's in the family and we look after him and he's one of ours and we support him.
You have to.
But the other side of that is obviously taking it way too far and writing him off. And listen, it's a section of, like Rio says, there's a section of Arsenal in their fan base. It's not every single Arsenal fan, and actually a lot of Arsenal fans disagree with the hashtags and the petitions. So you've got to give them a chance, and I guess time will tell if it works out to be a good deal. Obviously their relationship with Chelsea is a weird one. They've taken so many players, including Sterling, which hasn't worked. So on that side, I'm surprised they're going back into that to get Kepa, to get this lad as well. So
can I just say something? Curtis O'Hara here says West Ham fan and Liverpool fan speaking on something they don't have feelings towards. Mate, football's football. We all have feelings towards football, and if it was my club,
our job as well. By the way,
I'd be disgraced with the way my fans were vilifying a signing that we've just bought in. I would feel ashamed of it. So of course we have feelings. We have feelings, and we have to speak about it. So
yeah, of course, and it's on a human level. That's like saying someone who isn't a Liverpool fan, can't remember the life of Diogo Jota. We're all humans. It's way deeper than this. Anyway, let's not even. Big up to Curtis though for watching. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Big up. But yeah, listen, that's our opinion, right? That's our jobs. This is what we get paid to do, is to speak on these things. And there's a fine line. Yes, you can not want him at your club and maybe look for other alternatives. But
get a year down the line, and if he hasn't performed, then come back to it and just
similar to Kai Havertz.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, the timing when he came in, they were looking for a number 9 as well, and they got him, and they had to make do. He's turned out okay. I think it's a little bit extreme.
Scored more goals than anyone else, mate. Scored more goals than anyone else.
He does, and that's just a fact. So, Arsenal fans, Madueke coming through the door. What are your feelings? Let us know. On better news for Arsenal fans in terms of what they believe is more of a priority is that striker, the player. Is currently in Arsenal. Apparently, I did see on Twitter, someone had on the webcam of the motorway spotted his Mercedes Vito van that he's in, currently travelling to London Colney.
Yeah.
So I do think he is there, getting it all signed, sealed and delivered.
I'll tell you what, some of the things that I see, the way they track players and that through
plane trackers and
all that. Yeah, this is what the plane he's on, and he's coming to. It's crazy. Vito. How do you know what Vito van is in?
It look like a Sprinter, or how do you even know? Number plates and whatnot as well. So his agent, pretty much foregoed quite a bit of money. This has been a mess, to be honest, this transfer, but initially the release clause was 60 mil, there or thereabouts. Then they had a gentleman's agreement. If a big club comes in, we'll say for the release clause. Many clubs have wanted to trigger it and almost be the first one in the queue to get him, first come, first serve. But then the relationship between him and the sporting director has soured badly, because he said, hang on, you gave me a gentleman's agreement, I can go. Now you're asking them for 85, 90. It's like, no, that's not the deal. But it wasn't on paper. So now it's got to a point where he's not turning up for pre-season. It's completely broken down.
But what do you think about these sort of things?
Player power.
Yeah, like, I know it's player power, and I know there's a gentleman's agreement, but the club have got to be entitled to get as much money as they can. You know, Arsenal have got 65, 75, 85 billion. You know, they have. They've got it to spend, and they've just spent 55 on Madueke.
Are you saying, unless it's on paper, the gentleman's agreement means nothing?
Listen, I think Declan Rice had a gentleman's agreement. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't like... I know he's done very well. I know he's repaid Sporting tenfold for what they paid for him, but a gentleman's agreement is a gentleman's agreement. I think the club have also got a right to turn around and say, we need to replace you, and you're worth a lot more money than what they're offering. So turning up to training, I think
booting
it's
balls away, metaphorically.
And all that sort of stuff. I don't agree with that. I think that it's got to work for every part of the club. You know what I mean? So
and I understand
got to work for both parties.
The side which is, well, what if we want more money than the release clause? But if it is triggered, listen, he gets his move in the end, and Coventry and Brighton receive fees for this due to the sell-on clauses that go back obviously some years.
So who's it?
Coventry and Brighton. I actually saw him play for Coventry in the playoff final.
He was brilliant for Coventry. Yeah, he was.
Gustavo Hayward for Cov, but then he went to Sheffield United and he needs to move on again. But obviously, listen, Gyokeres gets his chance now. This is the biggest club he might ever play for. He's got one chance to go and deliver Arsenal the title. This signing has to deliver Arsenal the title, does it not? Because otherwise, 3 times in a row second, like, you're not signing to finish second again.
Yeah, he's got to. He's got to.
It has to.
This is supposed to be the missing part of the puzzle, right? So this is meant to be the one that gets him over the line. There, I was all saying it last year, and I totally, not last year, the year before. Number 9, and they would have won the league. This is the number 9. They've also signed in. He's here. Yeah. So there's no more excuses now. There's no more excuses. You know what I mean? Like, this is do or die for Mikel Arteta. Like, if he doesn't come up trumps this year, then the chairman's well within his rights to turn around and go, I've given you everything.
Mate, I've taken you as far as
you can go. You need to start delivering now. You know, there's no more excuses. We needed this, we needed that. They've got a world-class defence. They've got a world-class midfield. And now they should have a world-class attack. If you don't deliver trophies this year, game over.
Yep, 100%. By the way, you disgraces out there. 60 likes.
Come on, boys and
girls.
girls.
Over 1,000 watching.
Come on,
ladies and gents, boys and girls, let's get that right up there, please, and we will continue with the show. We are going to anyway. Sarah in the chat says, please list backup right wingers in the Premier League better than Noni. Keyword backup right wingers. I guess Liverpool's is probably Chiesa.
We had Kudus, he was better.
Backup though?
He was backup, yeah, he wasn't as good as Bowen.
Yeah, but you'd still play them both in the same team. Okay, but when they were both in the same team 2 years ago.
Yeah, Bowen was playing up front. He was mustard. Yeah.
But backup. Who else?
Backup right wings.
Harvey Barnes. He's more of a left winger, isn't he? Backup with City got. I mean, Savinho. Good player. Little bit.
Yeah, hit and miss, isn't he?
Hit and miss last season.
Cold.
They've got loads of backups though. City do.
Who else? Mahrez would have been a good one if he was still here.
Yeah.
He used to be a backup, didn't he?
I mean, he's probably in the top 3. Backup, in your words, Sarah.
But it depends.
Premier League,
it all
right
depends on whether he's come as a backup. He might not want to be a backup.
Oh, in his head, he's thinking, 55 mil, mate. I'm coming to displace Saka, or at least light a rocket up him and say, do you think you can't drop a stinker and just
maybe they don't want to play him there. Maybe they want to play him somewhere else. You never know.
That's it. We'll have to work it out, won't we? But yeah, please get that like button up as we move now. Well, we're actually staying on Arsenal, who are finalising a deal for Christian Mosquera to join Arsenal. The player was spotted leaving Valencia after a fee was agreed. They did try and roll the dice late in the day. One more time, Valencia. They did say, listen, the release clause is around 20 mil, but do you fancy a new contract? And he's gone, I might never get this chance again. I've got to go. And actually, I've watched a bit of this kid. He's played in the Spanish setup at under 21 level at centre back with Dean Howson. So he's pedigreed. You know, he's big. You know, very front foot forward defender. So the fee's been agreed, and again, not someone to come in and start every week, but a good young backup centre back for Arsenal, a bit more depth.
Yeah. Listen, he definitely ain't coming into. He's definitely coming in to be a backup.
Role there, yeah.
Like, you know, I see people in the chat saying there's nothing about world class about Arsenal. Listen, they've got a world class right winger, they've got a world class pair of centre backs. Simple as that. They've got a world class midfielder in Declan Rice. There is world class in there.
You need about 7 or 8.
You need about 7 or 8
to win the league.
That's only got
Liverpool under Klopp. We literally, I think, had 8 players that made it into the FIFA.
Would you say there was 8 players last season from Liverpool that was world class?
Alisson, definitely. Trent,
Van Dijk.
I
don't think Trent's world class. I think we've had this discussion before. He's a world class footballer, but I don't think he's world class in any position.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So how many are you giving me out of that team then so far? Because Robbo is a world class left back, most assists ever in the Prem as a defender.
Was he world class last season though?
Okay, but how long does the term world class last for then?
I think it's up until you stop performing. Like Messi at the moment, he's not world class.
He kind of is.
Ronaldo is not world class at the moment.
Maybe not him. Messi is pulling up.
Messi,
still,
yeah,
though.
okay, I'll give you Messi.
Can only beat who's in front of you.
But when the you know, in the Barcelona days, he'd beat teams on his own. He wasn't doing that in the World Cup. You know, they're not world class. They've always been world class.
How many are you giving me? Alisson, Virgil, Konate, Trent, Robbo.
Konate. Yeah, all right, I'll give you Konate. Trent.
Let's just go with what the general people think instead of maybe.
Yeah, Salah, obviously.
Salah's there, and at the time, you know, Fabinho was world class. No, we're talking about Klopp's team that got 8 out of 11 players that got Ballon d'Or. No, but I'm comparing it. You're saying Arsenal have got 3 or 4. I'm saying in a title-winning team. I know we just won the league, but without telling you, actually, I was thinking about the Klopp team, who only I reference it because we got 7 or 8 players that got Ballon d'Or nominations.
Well, in the Klopp era, there was a lot more.
Like Wijnaldum was world class.
Firmino,
Salah, and Mane were all world class.
Yes,
so
Mane,
what I'm saying is, Arsenal, yes, they've potentially got a borderline world class goalie. They've got Saliba and Gabriel, who I think are world class.
They are world class, yeah.
Declan Rice is world class. Odegaard isn't world class.
Can be on his day. But not consistent enough.
Not consistently.
Saka is world class.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So that's 5 or 6. And yes, that's on paper.
But if Gyokeres comes in, he's world
7
class.
or 8 or 9.
Eze, I think, can be classed as world class.
Leads me on perfectly to my next topic within Arsenal, who are still looking at Eze. The player is back from holiday. He was playing chess, I think, with Richard Branson. Did you see that in Mallorca?
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And he's agreed personal terms with the club, allegedly. But the rumours are that Palace are now heavily interested in Reece Nelson. Could he be used as a make-weight to make this deal happen? And is Eze still the player? Because even him, there's question marks over, is he an out-and-out left winger? Could you look at a Rodrigo and spend that money on him instead?
Yeah.
Rodrigo. Should they still be looking at Eze if they've just bought him?
I would buy Eze. I think he's the sure bet. I would buy Eze. If I had a choice between him and Rodrigo, Rodrigo's a fantastic player, but there's no guarantees you come from Madrid and come straight over to the Premier League and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
I think if you buy Eze, you know what you're getting, and you're going to get that. You know, Rodrigo. It's good on paper. I think people like Rodrigo. It's good on paper, and it does work sometimes. You know, Ozil come over and he tore the league apart. He really did. He was world class. So,
yeah, he was.
Payet come over and he tore the world. But there are players that come over and they don't quite hit the ground running. Not saying that they can't bed into the league. The league is a hard league. It's a hard league. I was only listening to Troy Deeney the other day saying about the difference between when he came from, I know it's Championship, when he came from the Championship to the Premier League, he couldn't get near the ball, couldn't get near it. It's a very fast and very physical league.
That clip as well.
Yeah, and it's sometimes some of the players, they're just not built for the Premier League. They just ain't. It's not that they're not good players. They're just not. With Eze, you know what you're getting. You know, he has played. He has done it.
5 years he's been.
5 years he's been at Palace now. We wanted to buy him. It was between him and Ben Rama. We signed him. We chose Ben Rama, or it maybe he chose Palace, one of the two. But you know, he's been fantastic, consistent. He's probably been he had that little spell under Zaha. Probably learnt a lot from Zaha because Zaha was really good as well.
And Elise as well.
Elise as well last season. But, them two have left and he's stepped up and he's the man. He's just scored them the winning goal in an FA Cup final.
Is folklore, instant
the only trophy they've ever won.
Yeah. There's an argument now to say he's the best ever Crystal Palace player ever.
He could,
in the Premier League era.
Do you know what? I reckon he's up there.
Won them the FA Cup.
Yeah, he's got to be up there. Zaha was fantastic.
Yeah,
like to watch as well.
No, let me correct myself. Zaha is the best Premier League player Palace have ever had.
Yeah.
Player, but Eze is definitely in the top 3 now. But I think because of the FA Cup win, Zaha never won anything, which is harsh to say because Palace aren't expected to win anything. But I think he's rightly so. He's about 65, 70 mil. I don't know.
He's got to be a bit gutted, Zaha, hasn't he?
Listen. Yeah, a little bit not to be involved in it. But don't forget, Eze, Mark Gahey, maybe Mateta are all not going to be there next season when they play in Europe.
Yeah.
So that squad just keeps getting broken up. And it is a disgrace. Whilst we're on the topic, I think, anyway, my opinion is it's an absolute disgrace how they're not still in the Europa League. Absolute disgrace. And I feel so heartbroken for them. Listen, Conference League, they would have snapped your hand off for that at the start of the season. But to get into Europe via that, they've got they've got a Wembley date with Liverpool coming up in the Community Shield. It's a disgrace how they've not been allowed to stay in Europe.
I was thinking about it the other day, and I did say the other day that maybe they would be more suited to it, to the Conference League. But Tottenham just won it in the worst season they've ever had. And when you look at Palace, I'd say Palace were better than Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
At this moment in time, obviously they haven't played any games. So you think to yourself, the price for winning the Europa League is Champions League football. Imagine Crystal Palace playing Champions League, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
But
because
now they can only play in the Conference.
And now they can only play in the, and they will
could win that though.
They could win it, and I
think he will win it.
As a winner of the Conference League, it was the best thing I've ever experienced. But I do think Palace, in this format of the Europa League, when there's no dropouts from the Champions League, when we went in it, it was very hard to win. We beat dropouts from the Champions League. We beat Sevilla, the best ever European football. We had a phenomenal run. We come up against a very, 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 very good Frankfurt side. That obviously
was Glasner, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Glasner. Yeah, again, very, very good. Frankfurt side, and we got knocked out. We went far in that competition when it was hard. Tottenham just won it. If I watched that final, I thought I was watching Sunday League football.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. And that's not throwing any shade on the both of them. It was 17th versus 16th in the league. So Crystal Palace might have been looking at that and saying, "Well, if they done it, with all them injuries and all that sort of stuff, we might have had a chance of getting." Because they were a good side, Palace under Glasner. They were a very good side. We might have had a chance of getting in, and the price for that is Champions League. So for ownership. Reasons to be the thing that chucks you out is a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Just on Palace, people, Lewis in the chat saying he's forgetting right, he played for Palace. He did, but not in the Premier League era. I'm talking about last.
No, he wasn't Premier League, was he? No, he wasn't Premier League
era because he went to Arsenal in what 96.
But no, did he stay?
92?
No, he went in 92. Yeah. He didn't stay at Palace long enough. I don't think. It was there for one of 4 years, maybe.
One of the best players to play for Palace, but not one of Crystal Palace's best players, if that makes sense.
I remember watching Antilio Lombardo.
What, the
bald eagle?
Hair,
yeah.
With that JVC kid. Yeah, wicked kid.
I was at the game when the lights went off. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And he scored. They was 2-0 up, and we scored and made it 2-2, and the floodlights went off, and we had to all come back the next week.
That is just unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, man. Let us know where you think Eze ends up. Also on Arsenal, Ethan Nwaneri, the talks are positive for his new deal. He will sign it, despite allegedly Borussia Dortmund offering him a project that was similar to Jude Bellingham's in terms of, you almost come in and be the main boy.
Yeah.
And that must have been an attractive option. He must have had a think about it. I think from his side of things and his agent and his team, they'll look at the season he broke through in as being like, right, what a great almost pedestal to go from here. But then he just didn't get played or didn't get brought on enough last season. So I know he still had a few moments of brilliance, but has he regressed in terms of opportunities? And will part of his decision to sign this deal, he might want a bit of a promise to say, look, man, if I'm signing this new deal, I want minutes.
He's got to get minutes. He's got to get minutes. As you say, like a couple of flashes of brilliance last season. But at the end of the day, you need more minutes. So if you're going to sign a new deal, if he's signing a new deal on the same, and they can't promise him more minutes, then he's mad.
No, he's got to sign that new deal, and he needs minutes. But Arsenal fans, let us know: is he ready? I think he is. Is he ready to show a little bit more of what he's got? I think he's got a new squad number of 22 instead of 53 or something. So he's obviously well thought of. But
I think when you see that,
it's a sign.
It's a sign. Yeah,
stay with us.
You are in our plans.
Yeah,
you are in.
Let's see. Positive indications at this stage when it comes to Ethan Nwaneri's new contract. Staying in North London, Tottenham announcing the signing of Kudus from West Ham. No, mate, you got to sit there because I got the Trent stuff.
Okay, all right.
Years and years I had that stuff. So if I was a West Ham fan, I won't lie to you, Nicky, I would be disgruntled to say the least with some of the things I've heard him say, including when the doctor in his medical put the old, what's it called? This stethoscope? What's it called? Stethoscope. To his heart.
You find Spurs there.
He said, you will find Spurs there in my heart. And he's obviously said, I've always... What did he say in his original video? Something like, it was
I only wanted Spurs.
I only wanted Spurs.
Yeah.
So why? Do you believe any of that?
I don't believe a word he says. Listen, we got all the same thing when he come to West Ham. You'll only find hammers in my... It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. and listen... What
you got hammers for?
I don't... Listen, I was not against selling Mo Kudus. Mo Kudus, to us, was about... he was useless. Yeah?
Last
season was useless. There's no point... and you could tell when he scored at Ipswich in the last game of the season, I said it then and I will say it now, there was no celebration, there was no sort of fanfare. He hadn't scored in a while either. He knew he was going. We knew he was going. Where we knew he was going, we didn't know. So there's no point, no matter how good they are, in keeping a player like that at your club if they don't want to be at your club, because they're useless.
I totally agree.
They're not. I would rather have... I don't know, people are going to come here. I'd rather have 11 Mark Nobles running about. Not the greatest of talents, but are going to give their all. Yeah, I don't care how much the talent the kids got.
Give me 11 Dirk Kites.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He's got all the talent in the world. He has. But if he don't want to play and he starts to throw his toys at the pram every time that it doesn't go his way, I didn't want to sell to Spurs. I don't think we should be dealing with Spurs.
Scott Parker was the last one.
Scott Parker was the last one 14 years ago. And we was in a championship with all the players that we sold to Spurs. And it's one of them things where, why didn't I want to sell to Spurs? Because I don't think we should be dealing with it. I think it gives them the ammunition to aim at us. They're always downplaying their rivalry, and they're saying things to us like, he wanted to go to a top 6 club. I'm sorry to break this to you. You were not a top 6 club. You were below us in the league, and we were terrible. Yes, I know you had injuries, but so did we have injuries. Yeah, and they keep saying we're not rivals. 7 out of the last 10 years they've qualified for Champions League football, and they have. One of them was Europa League, and this Tottenham side is not the side that had Christian Eriksen, an on-form young Harry Kane, an on-form young Son. It's not the same side. I'm sorry, but it's not.
No.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think they're showing great ambition. But 6 out of the last, 10 years, for the last 4, you've been nowhere near it. Apart from that cup, nowhere near it. Nowhere near Champions League. Yeah, and I don't think they'll be anywhere near it again next season, unless they win the Champions League.
Yeah,
which I don't think they
they're
will.
Not gonna do.
So, unless they make some massive signings, which they are, they're going for them. I don't think they think they've signed Messi, and they haven't. You know what I mean?
So what is your message then to Tottenham fans? Because obviously he's coming in through the door. A couple of years ago he's probably 85 mil. You've got him on a relatively cheaper deal, 55 mil. They're excited. Obviously they're seeing all this stuff on screen. They're thinking he's proper coys and all this.
Yeah.
What is your message to Tottenham fans?
Don't listen to a word he says. You know what I mean? He will probably start off fantastic. Yeah. But next season, if it doesn't happen, for him, and it's not going well for him, you got to remember there's Kulusevski's there as well and plays in that position. Maddison, yeah, he, if he drops form like he did for us, he won't be playing. He ain't going to stick around. There's no way. Like, Spurs is in his heart, but don't worry. The next one that offers more money, or he can play Champions League football at, like an Inter. I could see him going to an Inter Milan, someone like that. Yeah, he would be out that door quick. You know what I mean? And as I said to the boys at We Are Tottenham TV, when players leave your club like that, and you know, as I said before, like, that is a dagger to the heart to the West Ham fans. You know, I didn't stop turning up to West Ham. He stopped turning up to play. I still paid my money to watch him. He just didn't perform. And when a player like that is doing that to the fans that have supported you, don't expect any loyalty from the man. You know, he's on his 4th club, and he's 24.
What kind of reception would he get if he comes?
He's going to get a bad one now.
Yeah.
I think when it first happened, a lot of people was not blaming him for Spurs because he wanted to leave. We wanted to sell him, which we was all happy to do, and Spurs were the only club that came in, right? The fans didn't want him to go to Spurs because they don't think we should be selling to Spurs, right? Whether you think that's right or wrong or whatever, right? But the fans, we don't like dealing with Spurs as fans, right? The club were so desperate to get him, it happened so quick. And a lot of the fans were sort of directing their anger towards the board and saying like, well, the man wants to go. I think we could have waited a little while longer and, you know, let another club come in and maybe would have chose them. But when you go there and you're saying, I only want Spurs, and he's putting a stethoscope on there going, you know, you find Spurs in there, and it's just a dig, you know what I mean? And I find that classless from Mo, really, because, you know, when you play for West Ham, you don't say that about rivals. Whether they want to believe we're rivals or not, we are London rivals. Like we're rivals with Chelsea, like we're rivals with Arsenal, like we're rivals with...
Probably about 5 miles away from each other.
Yeah. We're London rivals. And when you're saying that, when you've got, 60, 70,000 people standing there every week cheering your name and you're playing like a donkey, I think that's classless. So don't expect anything for class for him when he wants to leave. But good luck to him, and I mean that with the greatest respect. And I know people are going to say I'm salty, but I'm just stating facts. People are saying they took their best player. You could have took anyone. He was as good as the lowest player last season. He was one of the worst. So he's no good to us in that state. So sell him. But I wouldn't have personally chosen Spurs.
And you need the money as well.
And we needed the money, yeah.
On Tottenham still, Nottingham Forest have now complained to the Premier League about Tottenham's illegal move for Morgan Gibbs-white after Spurs triggered that £60 million release clause. This is getting a bit messy now. I mean, the tapping up era, I thought we'd gone past that, but I have to admit there obviously are still some dark arts in the game in terms of, you know, can your agent make a phone call? Can he make a little text? Because traditionally you ask for the club's permission to speak to the player. They've kind of gone round the back door and almost done it themselves. But if you're Forest, I mean, are you going to get far with this this case, or do you? And if you're Tottenham, at what point do you actually just walk away?
I don't think they do walk away. This deal goes through. Yeah, it's going through.
Is it going to go to court though? Probably, but I think it'll be long after the transfer's done because it becomes. And I said this the other day. An emotional response maybe from Marinakis, who is maybe witnessing all his best players leave.
Very emotional man. You see it in the last game of last season. You know, when he come on the pitch and he was having a go at the manager. So he's a very emotional man. I don't know the guy's character, but he seems like he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he cares and all that. And you know, he's built a good side. You know, and against all odds, really, because the couple of seasons before that, you know, they was very close to going down. They've had their PSR issues that they had last season, you know, and the season before last, and you didn't know what state the club was going to be in. They nearly got Champions League football, so. Yeah, he's a very emotional man, and I just think he's one of them owners that are just not having it. What confuses me a little bit is there is a release clause in there, and it was a secret release clause. So it was one of them things where maybe they made an agreement saying, right, we'll put a release clause in, but we're not telling anyone it's there, so they can come and bid the lowest. We accept a bid, but you don't tell them. So what I think's happened is the agents gone to Spurs. Listen, if you bid 65 million, there's a 65 million pound release clause in there, and you can go. But obviously it wasn't meant to be made public. So I think that's what it's upset about. But I think it goes to court. But I think by the time it goes to court, it's a long past the time when Morgan Gibbs-white has gone to Spurs, because it is no good for anybody. It's no good to Forest. It's no good to Morgan Gibbs-white, and it's no good to Tottenham as it stands now, because Morgan Gibbs-white has already shown he wants to go. Forest have said they're pissed off with the way Tottenham have approached them, and Tottenham are now stuck without that player. They would probably want him. I think the friendlies are starting next week, and they would want him in their squad, ready to go. So it's no good to anyone. I think it gets to the end of the transfer window, and they just go, right, let him go. I just think they're holding him up and trying to
frustrate him.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think it's his fault. This. I don't think it's Morgan Gibbs-white's fault for obviously being, accosted by Tottenham. He wants to move, and it's not necessarily his fault. I mean, his agent might have something to do with it, and he's maybe gone around the wrong way of doing it. But listen, if he wants to move, there's nothing stopping him.
I think that is very underhand, though. If that was the agreement, which I understand, what I've been told to understand is that there was a release clause, and they agreed to release him, but he wasn't allowed to broadcast the amount.
Right.
So, like, Tottenham could have come in for 80 million, and they would have said, yeah. But in the contract, if a bid of 65 million, he had the power to then turn around and go, yes, I want to go there. So I think if that is the case, and the agent has tipped him off, he might have lost Forest 20 million, which is, bless you, mate. He might have lost Forest 20 million, which is a bit snaky, really.
But look, he's back, and he's reported for pre-season training with Forest. So all these thumbnails that have been made with him in a Spurs shirt might have to be put on hold. That's
what Fabrizio done, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he does that in the.
Here we go. Here we go.
On Tottenham, they still command a big fee for Christian Romero, standing firm on that. They don't want to let him go unless the big right fee comes in. There has been links to Atletico Madrid, but Tottenham, unless they're getting the money, they're in no position to sell. And as one of the captains, I know Sonny's the captain, but as someone who is the vice captain, you'd expect him to go, right, new managers here, let's make a good impression, knuckle down and give Champions League football a go. But I could see him at Atletico, but
yeah,
unless a big deal comes in, they're not going to do it.
Brentford are in that sort of, I suppose, like a lot of the smaller clubs, but like us, like Forest, and I'm not calling us smaller clubs, but I'm just saying, like, the top clubs are coming now and they're starting to pick the bones, like Palace. All have very good seasons, a lot better. You normally find this happens when you get a bunch of sort of top four, the bog standard top four clubs, the ones that you expect there every season, not have great seasons, and there's clubs like Brentford, Brighton, and clubs like that have good seasons. They then come and pick the bones off of them. You know what I mean? So you normally find that. So yeah, he could play that. But where does that leave Brentford? If
I'm talking about Christian Romero.
Romero, sorry.
No, that's all right. Brentford's up next though. But on
Romero,
I
thought we was already two there. I thought that's what you said. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I thought you did.
Christian Romero.
I thought we were talking about Hutchinson.
We'll move on. We'll go on to Hutchinson then. Ipswich have obviously had him last season.
Bad.
No, that's all right, mate. They had him last season, 2 goals, 3 assists, came with a lot of hype. Obviously, the Chelsea ranks, then the Arsenal, or it might have been the other way around, Arsenal and then Chelsea, then Ipswich. I expected a little bit more. But at Brentford, under Keith Andrew, the new manager, they've obviously brought Kelleher in as well. Jordan Henderson's now at Brentford, but they are looking at obviously letting go of Mbuemo and potentially even Wissa to Tottenham as well. But I can't really see that one if they've got Kudus in there. Doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, decent player. 21, still got loads of time, but he's going to command a decent fee of around 20 million because of that contract. But he's a Championship player or a Premier League player?
I don't know how. I really don't know.
A couple of nice moments in the season.
Nice moments, yeah, but does that make you a Premier League player?
No.
I don't know.
Well, with time and minutes and in a better team than Ipswich, with all due respect to the Tractor boys, then we'll see, I guess.
Well, I mean, we had a good experience with a Championship player in Aaron Cresswell. He's just left after 10 years. Jared Bowen, yeah. So, yeah,
Cresswell's gone to Stoke, hasn't he?
Cresswell's gone to Stoke, yeah, he has, yeah. But we had a couple of big moments with with Championship players.
Andy Robertson, we did.
Andy Robertson, you did, yeah, from Hull. So did he? He must have played with Bowen. Yeah, must have. Yeah, best mates,
probably. But yeah, listen, Brentford still looking to make some moves. They're going for a new era. They need fresh names. They need, to mix it up a little bit because they're going to lose a lot of big players. So it's about replacing them goals. But Mbuemo, the deal to United is still ongoing. I mean, how long has this negotiation gone on for now? When you look at someone like, for example, Madueke, it's taken about a week. Arsenal stumped the money up. United are probably saying, look, we'll pay it across 4 or 5 years. But Brentford are going, look, if you want a player, stop messing us around.
Yeah.
Pay the money.
And I think that, as I was saying before, when I jumped ahead to this Mbuemo deal, right? This is who I thought we were talking about. When they've had good seasons and they've had bad seasons, they want to take your best players and they pick the bones off you. And it is down to these teams now to turn around and say, no, you want to take them. He's already turned around and said he's want United. I can't see him going back to Brentford now. I can't, right? But no, and this is what I was saying about, with who was I saying it about? They should be just pay the money for him. Gyokeres.
Yeah.
We're in there right now to turn around and go, no, if you want him, he's going to cost you money. You know what I mean? Like, for too long, a lot of these top 4 clubs come along and they want the players on the cheap. You've developed them. You've got them in your team. You've stopped other players from developing that position. You've made them world superstars, and all of a sudden, Man United go, "I'll give you 40 million for him," and they think you're going to roll over and kiss their feet. And it can't be like it's not like the old days now, where they can just do that. The Man United have not got the power to do that anymore. I'm afraid. They're a big draw. They are a big draw. But they're not as big as draw as they was under Ferguson when they was winning leagues, and they're not. And if I was a player, and I know there's going to be a lot of nonsense in the chat, I would steer clear of the club. I really would. I'd steer clear of it. It is poison there at the minute. For everybody that touches that club, it's poison.
Yeah, totally agree.
I cannot think of one player.
Cunha's just gone there, and they
It's
like that.
It's poison.
To get Mbuemo, for it to have gone on for this long now is wild.
He's going to
really.
go there.
Yeah, but
they'll end up having
around,
to pay the money. But I think United are just trying to flex their muscles a little bit, but I don't think they've got the muscles that they think.
No. Popeye.
So there we go.
Popeye, just pop them. Let's go on to Liverpool then. Allegedly, speaking of Manchester United, Liverpool are to rival Manchester United's interest in Jean-Philippe Mateta, the Crystal Palace FA Cup winning striker. Foot Mercato says the Reds have contacted the agents and they met in Paris, allegedly. Mm-hmm. Now, I did a video on the COP TV today and basically went at the people that are saying what a rubbish sign. It reminds me a bit of this Madueke bit, but to a lesser level. I think it's 37 goal contributions in his last 72 games.
Yep.
Varied finishes that we've seen from the boy. He's 28 years old. How do I feel about this one? It's a difficult one because, again, Liverpool have got options there. Sesko was even linked today, and Kunku has been being monitored apparently, seeing what the situation is there. He could get away for 35 mil. They've obviously been linked with Isak, Ekitike. Liverpool will buy a striker. I don't doubt that. But Premier League experience, maybe a stopgap. With all due respect to him, in terms of bringing in that 23-year-old striker who's 75 mil. So, I mean, can there be much sense in this rumour?
No.
I
think
it
makes sense. It makes sense, yeah.
But they have spoken in Paris, and Liverpool won't speak to you unless there is some interest there.
But this signing for me, and I'm not downplaying Mateta at all, but it screams me like Christian Benteke. Do you know what I mean? Like, good player, but not Liverpool standard. You know what I mean? Danny Ings.
Yeah.
Great player.
Liverpool are in a much different place.
They're a much different place, yeah.
When we've got Ings here.
Yeah, but they're a much different prospect now. Is Mateta a Premier League defending striker?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But if they're looking at him as a backup and they've got another, if they have got a Isak or I mean we're going to talk about Ekitike in a minute. In a minute. But it could mean Isak may be moving on. Yeah. Who knows? We don't know. But I'm just saying, like, if that's a backup striker, it makes sense. But it screams to me like, what was his name?
Could do a job though.
The Scouser that went up there.
Ricky Lambert,
yeah.
Well, Lambert, Barini and Balotelli were
three strikers, yeah. But I'm just saying, like that, it screams to me like a, Benteke, good player, but he's not going to be that level.
Do you know what? I agree with you. Yeah, I do agree with you. But if you're scoring 19 for Palace How many are you scoring for Liverpool?
Danny Ings scored a lot. I know he got injured.
I know, but let's say, for instance, let's say he stays fit for a season and plays every game up front for Liverpool. How many goals is he scoring?
I don't know. It's different pressures, man. It's different pressures.
I know, but with the players around him, he's a clever boy.
I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't always... Players around him, me and you have turned around and said, Darwin Núñez should be scoring 50.
Yeah, we have said that before.
We've said it. He's got the talent. He's got all the tools, and you know it.
And he is in the Liverpool team.
And he's in the Liverpool team, and he's not scoring
As
50.
a number 9,
You know what I mean? So, like, it's...
Good point.
You know, it's having the tools, and it's fitting into the...
They're after like 40 to 50 mil. And Liverpool, for his age as well, I just don't think...
No, it's not. He may go there, but I don't think... I think there's got to be something else on the line.
The question I have for you, because Liverpool are looking for a striker, I do think, and I'll get to the question, but there's clearly, in my head, a domino effect with all these alleged top strikers in Europe and all these top European teams that need top strikers. I think the first domino to fall is actually Gyokeres to Arsenal. When that falls,
someone else.
Sesko will go, right, well, I need a club. Who's up for it?
Yeah.
When that one falls, Isak could be the next one. Ekitike could be a trigger for Isak.
Yep.
And then where do Liverpool fit into that? As a non-Liverpool fan, who do you think Liverpool actually do get as a number 9?
I would...
Because my money would probably now be on Ekitike.
Yeah. I was going to say Ekitike. But if Newcastle sign him, they're
claiming Matty Renton saying they want to play 2 up front, but you'd have to change the whole.
No,
and they're too similar.
No one plays 2 up front. No one plays 2 up front. Matty Renton, I think he's having a bit of coping because that could mean that Isak is on the move.
But he doesn't want to hear that, does he, Matty?
No, of course nobody wants to hear it, and you don't want to hear it, Al. You're the one.
I'd like to hear that.
No,
Isak leaving Newcastle.
You're one of them. I was talking about you the other day. Any Liverpool player is going to leave. You don't want to hear it. You know, when we was talking about Trent, you didn't want to hear it. So, you know, it's one of them things where it may mean nothing, but if now they're directing their sights on the Liverpool target, maybe that does mean that Isak could be moving the other way. You don't know. I'm just.
What's the next
advocate,
trigger to happen though for these moves to
Gyokeres? Gyokeres is the first. That's the first domino. Yeah, that's the first domino. Yeah, but we'll see.
Where does Sesko end up?
Don't know. I've got a clue.
United?
No.
So where does Ekitike end up?
Newcastle.
And where does Isak end up?
Newcastle.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Where do they all end up? Let us know.
Everyone ends up in Newcastle having a party.
Yeah, on Big Market having a drink. The Nkunku stuff, they might have monitored it and gone, what is the situation over here? 35 mil? All right. To be honest, not at the minute. We might come back to this one. Leave the door open for us. But the Sesko one, I'm categorically saying that's not happening with Liverpool. We might as well keep Darwin Núñez if we're buying Sesko. Genuinely.
I'm
much rather Darwin Núñez than Sesko. But the Ekitike Isak thing, I'm keeping a very, very keen eye on their movements because
I think one of them ends up at Liverpool.
Which one?
Don't know.
Toss of a coin.
Toss of a coin.
What are the percentage, if you were to enumerate this, percentages of Isak to Liverpool?
Right. I've got 2 answers.
Go on.
Isak to Liverpool is about 10% if Ekitike doesn't move. If Ekitike moves, I'm going to push that up to about 35%.
35?
Because a third,
yeah.
Because if they offer big money, I think Newcastle could go out and find another Isak. They're with that sort of club, you know. And you're talking about a world record transfer maybe for him. You know what I mean? And Liverpool could afford it. You know what I mean? They've got the money.
Just done Verts for
last year, you know, he was whinging and moaning that they signed no one. So they've got money because they barely signed anyone last year. They've won the league.
Won the league though.
Yeah,
I better shut up.
Won the league. But we're all within our rights.
Yeah,
Nobody in their right mind. Nobody sat here and said Liverpool are going to win the league.
Yeah.
Nobody. You know what I mean? Not even yourself. So I'm just saying, like, they've got a lot of big cash injection. They're an attractive club. They are an attractive club, and they're a club on the up again. You know, and they never really dipped. They had one dip and they've gone straight back up. You know, Arsenal were there, Liverpool were there. They've gone past them again.
Is that a little karate move? Is it?
No, it's come on your eyes.
Oh, come on your eyes,
but you know what I mean? Like they've gone back like that. Didn't really miss a beat. Missed one season. So
it's a good answer. That I like that answer because it all depends on Ekitike.
Ekitike goes. I think Newcastle would consider
There's
it.
just no way they can play with two up front.
No, nobody.
Matt, he was so sure when he told me.
No, nobody plays two up front. Nobody.
Because then, what do you do with Gordon? What do you do with...
No, I don't know.
What's the other lad on the right? Jacob Murphy. What do you do with Harvey Barnes? What do you do with Elanga if you're playing two up front?
They've bought Elanga because they're playing one up front.
Yeah.
There's no other way. There's no other reason why they would buy.
I think, and do you know what? Ekitike himself has not said a word. He's not said a dicky because why would he? You want to almost wait and see what the market says. But I do think there's a late push because look, we've got 6 weeks left of this window. I do think there's a late push and a dramatic, maybe even a world record push that Liverpool make in this game of chess, let's call it that, at the minute. At some point late in the window, I do think Liverpool go, right, green light, Bosch. That's our man. That's who we want. But again, Darwin Núñez to Napoli. Does he even leave?
Who knows?
After what's happened recently.
I would take Núñez.
Yeah, I know you would. Of course you would.
I'll take him, yeah. If they offered him on loan, I'll take him because I like him. I do like him. Doesn't score enough goals.
No.
But, you know, it's the pressures of being up there with a big club.
Yeah.
And but I would say this, right? Newcastle just won a trophy. They're going to be pushing on. Ekitike has a great signing. I think Elanga's a brilliant signing. Are they ready to push to that next level of the league? I'd say no. Then I don't think they are.
As in title challenges.
As in title challenges, yeah. But they will be. They're preparing for that. Does Isak stay long enough to make that title challenge? I don't think so. So at the moment, if they're offered 150, 175 million pounds for him, I think they might say, "Well, get that." And then we'll find another Isak, and he will be ready.
Well, Ekitike is the next Isak.
Maybe they do see that as that, but he will be ready and with us then when we are ready for the title push. So Isak's not going to stay for that title push. He's not going to be there. If it's not this season, it will be next season. Yeah, unless they do something phenomenal, Newcastle. And I know it sounds horrible, but I'm just saying, like a big player is going to come in for him. It'll be a Real Madrid or something. So if Liverpool come in now and say 175 million.
175?
150, whatever.
I mean, go in with 120 to start with.
No, I don't think you get it for 120.
Well, originally their asking price was 100, and then after this season it's gone up to 150. So I think somewhere in the middle, with the PSR issues as well, they'd have to accept that.
With a big money move, yeah? A big money, whether it's 120, 150, 170, whatever, yeah? Like a record back, like a needle mover, yeah? Then I think Newcastle have to consider it because if it's not this year, he's going to go next year.
Hang on. Babe, Jesus. I'm filming. I can't talk.
Sorry.
Yeah, filming. I'm on live. And I couldn't turn it off silent, so I thought I'd just answer it and tell you.
But yeah,
right?
I honestly do think...
cheers, babe. In a bit.
I honestly do think there could be something happening with Isak if Ekitike goes to Newcastle.
I think the market is finally balanced and it's waiting for... All the top clubs are almost going, you go first. You go first. Go on, put the money down, and then when you do that, we can do that. If this happens, it's like a merry-go-round.
Yeah, and it always is.
And I can see it clearly, yeah.
It's like moving house. You ever bought an house?
No, but there's a chain, isn't there?
There's a chain.
Yeah.
And one link in that chain
breaks
goes,
the whole thing.
Breaks down. So as long as that domino effect starts...
When does it start, all this madness?
Now. Right Gyokeres is going.
It's got it now.
So there's money being injected in there, people looking for strikers. So there it goes.
There we go. Right, in the chat, Ekitike, Isak, where do they end up? Do they just stay at their clubs? Because again, Frankfurt are saying, well, unless someone pays 80 mil, we're not under any pressure to sell. So someone's got to stump that up as well. So
I don't think Newcastle are buying.
Callum Wilson has just left, but he's not going to come in and...
With all due respect, I know people saying, oh, they won't sell Isak now, Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson was a nothing player at Newcastle, really. He's injured too much. You know what I mean? Like, he's 33 or something, he's 34. Wasn't hitting the standards. Like, Newcastle looking to get the next standards. I don't think Callum Wilson leaving really influences what they was going to do. If Callum Wilson was still there, they would be buying someone if they wanted someone. So, yeah.
No, you're spot on. As always, Rivals in the chat says Ekitike to Newcastle, Isak to Liverpool. Swap deal for Isak and Núñez plus 50 mil. This could be Núñez's standout season. It's written in the stars for him at Liverpool now. I mean, he scored yesterday.
So sorry, Al, but Isak for Núñez and 50 mil. I think that's Isak for Núñez and 100 mil. I'm afraid. I don't think you're going to get him for 50 mil because that would be pricing Núñez at 100 mil.
Yeah. He's not, is he?
No.
Well, I think Napoli have offered 43, and we've gone unless it's 60. Like, don't bother, because they're stalling over this one as well.
I think when we was in for him, and we offered the 45 mil. Maybe we offered a bit more than that. He was a 45 mil player. He was. You know what I mean? And you overpaid for him, and we was prepared to overpay for him because he's got all the tools, like we've said. He's got all the tools.
This a million times.
It just didn't. It hasn't worked out for him. So, yeah.
But what I do hold some judgment in a positive way for him is he was the first player at Diogo Jota's funeral, first Liverpool player there, and this was days after his granddad died in Uruguay. So, he was at the funeral. He's obviously gone, had a skinhead. I was talking to Doyle earlier, and he actually landed on the opinion that we should keep him now, because this could be, after everything that's happened, these tragic events in his life, it could be the light could switch on.
Yeah. It could. It definitely could. And listen, I've been there in the ground, mate, and I've seen him score some world-class goals against us. I mean, the one that we scored in, I think he was in the Cup.
Yeah.
It was world class, and the one he scored in the league was world class.
A header,
a little header. What was the one where he turned and volleyed it? That was against us. Remember when he volleyed it on a volley?
West Ham.
Yeah. I was there, mate. Yeah, I was there. Went right in the top corner. It was class. It was class. And that's the thing he can do. He's capable of that. If he can cut out all the nonsense, cut out the noise, and concentrate on the good. He's a world-class player.
I said, right, when I first started getting the inkling that he wasn't going to be a 35-goal-a-season killer in front of goal.
He can be, though.
He can be, but I said, to get him that, get Luis Suarez down the AXA, give him 2 weeks, and say, turn him into you.
I watched Luis Suarez, mate. That geezer can't even run for a ball anymore.
I'm not saying now.
No, I know what you're saying.
Train him. Take him away from training.
No, I'm not saying you're going to sign him back. I'm just saying,
personally guide this kid, but I do think the chance has gone. It's sad.
I don't think the chance has gone. A light can always switch. Remember Forlan?
Yeah,
Forlan had seasons and seasons and seasons where he was.
He's a professional tennis player now.
Is he really?
Yeah. But I was with him in Bangkok for this golf thing, wasn't
really?
Yeah.
A nice guy, I've heard.
Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Top guy.
But he had 3 or 4 seasons for United, or 3 seasons where he was diabolical, and then all of a sudden the light just switched like that.
Yeah.
And then
Golden Boot World Cup. Yeah.
So.
Henri in the chat says Nunez isn't going to develop good link-up play, composure, nor goal-scoring instinct all of a sudden now after 3 years, and that is the sad reality that I think I go back to when I have all this hope and praying that he turns the corner. But I have to big him up personally. It's never. It's like someone in the comments on the Cop TV yesterday said it's like an ex-girlfriend that you want to move on from. You just can't do it.
Can't do it, yeah.
And as a person, oh my God, I don't love many Liverpool players more than Darwin Núñez. As a person, his tenacity. Because that's one thing we're questioning about Kudus, and can he do a bit more? There's no part of me that thinks he's not trying.
Yeah.
Because he does try.
He does try, yeah.
And he wants to just bleed Liverpool. But listen, we've left him with a Premier League trophy. He's won a few trophies at Liverpool.
Low fat, mo fat says, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about when we was talking about earlier about Madueke. So you wanted Núñez gone now, the hypocrisy.
If you actually have watched what I've been saying about Núñez in the last few years, I've never wanted a signing to work for Liverpool more than Darwin Núñez. I was at the Brentford game. I was at Sparta Prague last year where he scores 2 worldies. I've been at games where he's hit the post 4 times. I've been at games where he's made me get off my seat, and he's so frustrating. But the one thing about him, and I know we're not in the business of sentiment, and it's got to be ruthless. You need your killer up front, but honestly, that guy, I've never wanted it to work for a Liverpool player more. And there could be another couple chapters. He scores yesterday, does Diogo's celebration. At the end of the game, he's looking at the fans crying. Virgil's hugging him. That is a man who loves playing for Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see anyway.
We'll see.
Transfer window will say, won't it? So, listen. Liverpool allegedly speaking to Jean-Philippe Mateta. Gyokeres to Arsenal is done. Is that the first striker domino now? Will others fall after that? Let us know. Obviously, we've spoken about Kudus to Tottenham. Nicky not happy about that. We'll move on. And Man United still taking their sweet time over the Mbuemo deal. And, of course, Ekitike and Isak. Where do they end up? Nicky Hawkins, thank you.
Thank you.
Once again for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it, as always. Go and follow West Ham Fan TV. You are actually starting a new podcast as well, aren't you?
Yes. forgot what it's called now. You've got.
I even know its
London
name.
is House.
There we go.
Yeah, London is House. So yeah, that's starting very
You're
soon.
going to reveal any more, or keep it a bit close to your chest, or?
I'm going to keep it close to my chest for
I
now.
would.
We are recording this week, so that'll be the first one.
With a few of your favourite faces from the internet.
Yeah, it's Lee Judges is going to be on it. The boys from Way on Top on TV. Okay, all right.
But if the Judginator's on it, then I'm involved.
So go and subscribe to. We are London is Ours.
London is Ours. It's coming out soon. But obviously, go and follow West Ham.
No, the channel's
TV
there right now. So go search it. London is Ours. Subscribe to it. We're trying to get 1,000 before we get to our first show. So
love that.
Yeah,
and make sure you go and do it. Show support for the main fella.
And for West Ham Fan TV, of course, because that is where you'll see me the most.
That's the bread and butter, isn't it? And we're coming back to that. I love a bit of West Ham fan. Do you know what? I was telling a story of the old Beckton Arms story the other day to my dad. He was laughing. My dad didn't even know this. The first house he ever bought in London was it was in Beckton, and his local pub was the Beckton Arms.
Beckton Road, then?
Yeah,
that's where I lived.
That's where he first grew up. Well, not grew up in London. He grew up in North London, but lived in East London for a long time.
He must have lived on the same road as me.
I'd probably not even far off from the truth. But we were talking because I was explaining the Beckton Arms, and he went, I used to live there.
Yeah.
And it was one of them, like, he's a bit of an older boy now, so his memory's not great.
We'll do, I'm sure when we...
round 2.
Yeah, we'll do round 2, yeah.
In the sunshine, though,
karaoke and all that. I like a bit of karaoke. The pool, yeah.
Dream of California.
No,
he's a good singer.
With a name like Danny California, I was going to sing.
Yeah, top karaoke singer is...
Yeah, we'll do it one day. When we do a DR Sports event, we'll do a karaoke.
I don't know about the Beckton Arms.
I'll give you a Nicky Hawkins concert. You know what I mean?
Listen, we love to see it. Smash that like button. Get your comments in, people. And don't forget, we'll only be back tomorrow, won't we? So we'll see you then. Take care. All the best.